98, and let me see, 96 days ago, we had Doug here when we launched, and my dad was here sharing the screen, and today he's relaxing in his newly renovated deck. So shout out to all dads out there, and I hope that everybody's taking a little bit of time to just reflect on the love and nourishment that comes from those people who take the role of being the father and just helping us to get navigating through life. So as we go to do the exercises today, we're going to just focus on the little things, because sometimes the little things we don't notice. And it's simple things like who is there to love us and who's there to support us, and just having somebody there can be enough for us to make a move forward. So you can think of those people in your life who are doing that role, and then pay tribute. So as we do that, let's talk about the little things. So yesterday we focused on the breath. So today let's link the breath up to the posture, because you can't have one without the other. It doesn't work. Okay, so I'm just going to back up a little bit. So what I wanted to talk about was how we're going to take that breath. So if you want to sit, that's totally fine. You can do everything seated. I'm just going to stand for the time being. And I want you to just put those feet down into the floor, shoulder width apart. And I want you to feel the floor with the 9 points of your feet. So the pads of each toe, outside edge of your foot, the heel, then you've got the big ball and the little ball. But what I want you to focus on is the openness of the joints. And as we go to take the breath, letting everything come right up through the body, just as we did yesterday when we were breathing, and then back down. Okay, so as we do that, I'm just going to stand. I'm just going to let my arms kind of float with each breath. And let them come back down. And then pushing into the feet, expand. And the breath is just filling you up. You're bringing all of that air into the joints. Let the back relax, let the spine open. And one more. And let that go. All right. So let's work a little bit on the spine and the breath. So if the shoulders are pulled back so the shoulder blades squeeze together, I want you to take a breath from there. Okay, so you can feel it starts to expand a bit in the front, no expansion in the back. And you're almost like a lean back, which a lot of people you'll see standing, and they'll stand and they'll lean. So if you bring yourself up to straight, put your shoulders over top of your hips over top of your ankles, and let your back relax just by sinking into your feet. And take your breath in there. And you'll notice it's going to come from a very different place. Okay, so now what I want you to do is take your head and let it come forward a little bit. Take your breath in again. Okay, it'd be a pain in my ear. Just notice the breath, what it does there. It's like your lungs try to breathe, and then they just don't have any more capacity, so you can't take in any more air. Now what I want you to do is take that chin, pull it back, take the top of the head up, bring everything into alignment, so your ears are over top of your shoulders, not squeezing your shoulder blades though, just letting your arms drop, and now take a deep breath in. And you'll notice that's going to be a completely different experience. Just by bringing the head up, the sternum rises. When the sternum rises, you can actually get the breath coming all the way through the lungs. When this sits forward, there's a sink in here that closes everything up, and you just can't get the same. So we'll bring that back up. Okay, so you're taking your deep breath in. Ooh, that feels much better. Okay, now your commencement. And then let that go. Sink. And one more. Take a breath in. And that should be with no effort. Okay, so that gives us our start. Okay, So the next little part that I wanted to work on has to do with what we did yesterday, which was we tapped from the shoulder to the thumb, from lung to thumb, which is the lung meridian, lung energy line. That's where the frequency is for the lungs and for how they want to function. So we're just going to tap down the arm to the palm and the other side. Okay, now try your commencement. Oh, beautiful. My arms just floated right up. And again. And that's where no effort is. So now you need that to get the air in. So now that I brought that thought into your mind, let's do the first 17 from the Tai Chi set. Again, you can do it seated if you wish. Just don't turn side to side. Do it straight forward. And I'm going to do it standing for this first round. So the hands, are going to come around. I think I got lots of air in there. Okay, we did the bow the other day. Forward, and then if you push into your feet, you can come back up the way you came, or you can roll up. Whichever is fine. I came back up the way I came. Commencement. Now we're just going to let each breath support the movements. And then into the left foot, expand the right. Opening the heel. Hold the ball. Step and reach out. Hold the ball. Step. Into the palm. Turn back. Palm to palm. Opening the hands. 2 hands are going to go out. Sinking back. Sink. Place the foot and reach out. Into the right. Turn the left toe. Heel goes out. Sink. Foot. Hand. Turn the foot and expand. Place the foot and then let that rise up. Up to the top. That's going to come all the way around. Open the hands. Brush knee. Half a step. Heel goes out. Strum pepa. Opening the spine. Open the hands. Brush knee. Twist step. Brush knee right. You stay with your brush knee right. Twist step. Brush knee left. Move the table. It's a little further down than it normally is. Half a step. Heel goes out. Strum the pepa. Open the hands. Brush knee left. Twist step. Hold the flowers. Step patois. In. Out. Wipe the sleeve. Step through and punch. Wipe the sleeve. 2 hands. That's going to come around. Toe. Heel. Sink. Crossing the hands over. Adjust the foot. Nice big breath in. And let that go. Beautiful. Okay, so our job today is to look at the little things, right? So the breath is one. Very simple, but you have to engage it. You have to know that you're breathing, right? Tapping down the arm, if you notice that that immediately opens you up to have more air, that might be something you want to add to make sure you've got it in there. Okay, so the next part. We have played with all the ways to move the feet, how you move the whole leg to open and expand. And the next part is you want to be aware of what your feet are doing. So to give you an idea, at one point while I was doing the set there, my toes lifted up off the floor. And immediately I knew I was not grounded. I needed to make sure I put my toes into the floor and really sunk into the floor. And so if you find that your toes want to lift off, they're moving your weight backwards. So actually that's quite interesting. So if you go down into the bubbling springs, so the center of the foot, okay, if you sink down into there, now everything's totally relaxed, you're breathing, your toes flip up. See what happens to your weight. It just by lifting your toe, it pushes you backwards. It's so powerful. The toe lift sends that push into the big ball of the foot, and that immediately pushes you back. So you can imagine that if you're going to go up onto your toe to do something, but your toes lift off the floor, you're going to be pushing your weight where you don't want to go, and you'll lose your balance. So I want you to just be really aware of your feet, and if that occurs while we're doing anything, and it can happen when you're seated as well. So the foot exercise where we tap the toe and we try not to get the toes to pull back, that's a good exercise for that. So let's just see down into the feet. So let's do this set again. Just be really aware of what you're doing with your feet. And if the toes disconnect from the floor, or you start to notice they're not connecting to the floor, and they may not be connecting at the moment either, which is also good to know, because you want them to be. They should be totally engaged. Okay, so here we go. Commencement. And then sink. And then the weight goes into the left foot. Turning the hands. So you spiral on the heel. Spiral on the toe. Everything's lined up. Weight's down into your right foot, but your toes are not gripping the floor. They're just connected to the floor. I say that because I caught mine. Step with the left foot. This is going to reach out. Now, got weight down into the feet. They shouldn't be gripping. They're just holding you there. Okay? Into the feet. Push through the foot to come back. Palm to palm. Open the hands. Two hands go out. Sinking back. So now the weight is in the left. Spiral the whole right side. Spiral on the left toe. Sink. Place the foot straight to the side. Whip to one side. Okay, notice where your toe is. Foot turns to the corner on the left. All the weight's in the left. Heel goes out. All the weight is in those left toes. And right there, they're connected to the floor. Foot. Feet are flat. The toes are connected. Turn the foot. And now glide over into that foot. Sink down into it. Place a ball of the foot of the left. Spiral up. Now this is where I lost toe contact before, but it seems to be connected now. Let that come back down. Place the left foot, and you've got a brush knee. Okay, half a step. Heel goes out. I do have connection there. Open the hands. Brush knee. Twist step. Hold on. Twist step. Here goes. Brush knee right. Now right here, check in with your toes. Are they gripping the floor? Are they just resting on the floor? Step. Brush knee. Half a step. Heel goes out. Sink. Open the hands. Place the left foot. Brush knee. Twist step. Hold the flowers. Step patois. In. Out. Sink. Now right here, the ball of the foot is pushing with the left foot, but I'm flat on my right. Step through and punch. So I just give myself enough room there. Wipe. Push into the feet. Notice those toes. Sink back. Spiral. Spiral. Now connecting in with the feet. Crossing over. Adjust the foot. And then let that go. Sink. Okay. So that one, there were a couple of places where I definitely did grip with my toes. That tells me that I was not using everything open. I moved into it and was like, oh, hold myself. that's tension, but you want to sink into it and the toes are connected and working, okay? So let's try the same thing seated and see what happens for your feet here. This is also a good telltale sign. Okay, so here's your commencement. And the weight is in the feet. They're engaged. Then you're going to turn the fingertips, which opens the back. And the hand comes through. You're falling into the feet. Notice where the weight goes. Okay, this comes back. Left grasp bird's tail, fall into the feet. Pushing into the feet. Grasp bird's tail. Fall into the feet. Push back. Fall into the feet. Push back. Fall into the feet. Hands turn. So that awareness in your feet. You'll notice which muscles in your legs are doing what they need to do. Step up to raise hands. So now this is going out the top of the head, nice and long. Hand falling forward. Push into the feet. Lift. Expand, expand up the top of the head. A little bit in your right foot, a little bit in your left foot, and then forward. Push into the feet, expand, strum the pepa, sorry, open. I was just so aware of my feet that I forgot where I was. Brush knee left, twist it. It's interesting when you change your focus, how quickly muscle memory wasn't thinking about that before. Push into the feet, brush knee left, push into the feet, strum the pepa, open, brush knee left. Twist step, hold the flowers, in, out, nice and tall, wipe the sleeve, and then this is going to fall straight forward. Push into the feet, two hands, sink, cross, that lifts you up nice and tall, open, and then sink. Okay, so you could probably feel into the feet, falling into the feet. They were very even, so I didn't have my toes trying to grip or anything, which is fantastic. Now the exercise I talked about for focusing on that big toe, pulling back, this is just doing a lift and a fall, but the foot is flat. So your toe isn't pulling back, it's just gently dropping each time. Right. And again, nice and slow, just so all of the tissue is having the conversation and you're not in muscle memory. And my cat is determined it's time to go out again. Okay. Hey, Missy? Okay, so there's that foot. Okay, we got that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is let my cat out. And as I do that, what I'd like you to do is that commencement. And now I want you to link in to noticing where the bubbling springs is. Okay, so I'm going to shift you from the foot to even tinier detail. You're going to go into the bubbling spring this time. So when your hands float up, your focus is in bubbling spring and engaging and feeling what that feels like. And that on the bottom of the foot, there's a ball of the foot that goes across here, that pad. You're going to go just below that, onto the soft part of the foot, just below the ball pad. Okay, that's bubbling spring. That is your wellspring where energy flows up into all the organ systems. And also that engages the energy. Just by rubbing that one, I can feel it in the other foot. Just by touching it. Okay, what I want you to do is focus on that. And then as you do your breath in, feel the energy that you're now accumulating or creating within the leg. Okay, so do two more. I'll just open the door. has it all figured out. When to make sure that she can have my attention. Okay, so I'm hoping you can feel like a little tiny buzz in the bottom of your foot. It's just starting to come up the legs. All right, and now just by bringing that awareness in there, and again, if you want to, you can just go into that spot, feel that spot. Do the same on the other side. Notice that spot. Just give it a little rub so you're very aware of it. Okay. Now what I want you to do is just do, let's just do grass bird's tail because we're back and forth into the foot. So if we go left grass bird's tail, left hand comes up, right hand spiraling, turning back and coming through. Push into the feet, opens the back, hold the ball, and then this is going to come through, fingertip. Bow and arrow comes back, palm to palm. Into the feet, and then push through. We'll just finish with the whip. So it's going to come around, past lower dantian, make your cone, which we talked about yesterday, reach. Okay, so now, having just thought about engaging the bottom of that bubbling spring, can you feel the energy coming up your leg? That's what we're looking for. So deep breath in. You relaxing the body, getting everything to flow, and now start to feel the lightness, the bubbling, the zapping, the energizing. I don't know what kind of words to describe for you that start to come up the leg. Okay, I'm laughing because my cat's back at the door scratching from the other side. She's gonna have to stay there. Okay, so let's go to grass bird's tail standing now, and what I want you to feel is the activation of the foot as you go into it. So if you stand on your right, sink, open the spine, step with the left foot, and this is going to expand. Expand, expand, expand. Hold the ball. Step with your right foot. This is going to go push into the foot, push away. Push through the foot, push away. Push through the foot. This is going to come back, sink. Now you lift the foot, so you're engaged on the left side, and then you spiral the left side, which means you're changing energetically what's going to happen in that foot. Turn. Okay, gives you something a little bit more. Okay, so we went, same moves we've been doing, but we went into what is the breath. We woke up the lung line, so there's more air going in, and then we started to focus into the toes, and then into the bubbling springs. Now I brought your awareness to where it spirals or where it turns. All of these pieces are doing something for the body in different ways, depends which way you're turning, okay? And then the whole leg does the turn and comes back in, okay? So what I would like you to do is grass bird's tail here again, into grass, so I was left grass bird, into grass bird's tail here. And I'm gonna have to go bring that cat in because she's gonna take my door apart. Palm to palm, and then you keep going. Open the hands. Two hands are gonna go out. You're gonna turn your hands around or whip to one side, and then step with your left foot, and then reach out. All right, Missy, that is it. Sorry about that. Hopefully you felt that when you got back. Okay, so now let's take it to step up to raise hands. So that's where the heel is going to go out, and you have the sink. Then you have hand, right hand comes down. Foot drops, and then the right hand comes down. Sink on, so your weight is on that left foot. Notice your feet, notice the bubbling springs, because there's a fair bit of pressure here. Turn. And now you're going to push out of the one foot and then push down into the other foot. Plant your foot. And now this is going to spiral you up, take you right out the top of your head, and then spiral you all the way back down into that right leg. Step with the left foot, and there's a brush knee. Okay, and again, I'm hoping your focus is in on the bubbling spring, and what the foot is feeling like in all of those positions and the energy coming up the body. So we have step up to raise hands, big breath in, foot, hand. Turn the foot and then just glide across, sink. Place the foot and then you're going to push out of that foot, spiral, lift, open, all the way around. Place the foot and through. Okay. So I'm hoping you're going to feel the foot a little bit differently. So let's go to the brush knee, which would follow then. I'm just going to do it facing you slightly different way. So you start with the brush knee left, a half step, push out of that left foot. You actually push out of the bubbling spring. Rises you up. You start to sink down into the right, your heel goes out, and you come around, sink. Open, place the foot, and this goes brush knee. Twist. So you've got all your weight down into that left foot, the toes are connected to the floor, brush knee. Toes are connected to the floor, completely connected, brush knee. Half a step, expand, heel goes out, sink. That's going to come back down. Feel that weight in the bubbling spring. Everything's connected. You're just like so soft on there. You could just bounce up and down. Place the foot and push off of that down into the left. Okay. I'm hoping you could feel the feet in that little bit. So let's try it one more time. So you have brush knee left. Now as you bend down into that left foot, your back opens. Half a step pushes you back into the right, gives you a lift. Sink, put out your heel, spiral that through. Open, step with the left foot, brush knee left, sink. Twist step. Step with the right foot, brush knee right. Twist. Step with the left, brush knee left. Half a step, heel goes out, sink, feel the weight on that foot, open, brush knee left. Okay. All right, so we've broken down that little piece. We've gone into the feet, the bubbling springs, the connection to the floor, the push-off. So now let's go a little bit smaller. Let's go into the spiral action that's coming down into the foot. Okay? So this part, to do the spiral action, we did it on the brush knee, and I'll put it there so you can experience it, but then I'll also come up with another example for you. So if you go into the brush knee, okay, so right here, without rocking back to turn your foot, I'll do it sideways, hopefully this helps. Okay, what you're going to do is keep pushing out with your right hand, and you're just going to turn. They go together. So there's an opening, and then there's a sink into that foot. Place the foot. Now you can feel as you come through here, you start to move. You start a spiral that starts in the hips, coming from the left, into the right, and it starts to turn. And you're just going to turn down into your right foot. Okay? And as you finish that off, the whole leg lets go. Step, brush knee, and here, your hip is coming, your right one is coming from this side. It comes across to square, and as it does that, it creates the spiral counterclockwise down into the left. Okay, and we've talked about that before. So you do have a spiral that happens between shoulder and hip. We've talked about that before. That is bigger movement, and I just want to talk about what's happening down in the leg. By putting the weight into the leg, it spirals down. When you come out, it spirals back based on where you're going to go. So if I'm going to do that brush knee and I move from my left foot, the hip is going to come around, it's going to turn, and it's going to spiral down into the right foot. And then when I go to push back, my left hip pulls back, my right hip pulls, and that creates the spiral the other way. Of course, now you have a spiral going down into the other leg. And then from the back leg, the spiral goes clockwise, clockwise, counterclockwise, counterclockwise, clockwise, clockwise, counterclockwise, counterclockwise. Okay, so there's a pattern in there. And that action is changing the way all the tissue is working, plus the bone. And we talked about if you get the chi into the joints, you make enough energy that all the joints fill up, then you have the bone next. And it's that spiral action. Keeps cleaning the system out, moving things around. Okay, that's important. So if we go to seated for a moment, so we can experience that seated, because you're down into the feet and then you're back. So you're not doing a twist and a twist with this one, but you are on the inside when the other parts move. So I know some people say, yeah, but I want to be able to move my feet the same as the standing people. You don't need to, because it's going to happen on the inside just by what you're doing on the outside. Okay, so what I mean by that is, if we were to go with brush knee left, so left hand's going to go down, okay, push back with your feet. Now, there's a little bit of action that comes into your right foot, spirals you back to straight. A little bit of action in the left foot, and you see it's coming through your hip. A little bit of action in your right, and there's movement all the way through there. Brush knee left, twist step. So there's some weight into your right foot. That's changing what's going on in the right hip. Brush knee left, brush knee right. Left foot, I was going to say, had a little bit of pressure into it. A little bit of pressure into the right brings you back. And it's really subtle. Push into both feet. And then let that come through, right foot over to left. Okay, so you have this tiny little action, but that little action is moving all the way in the hip, and it's creating a similar kind of pressure, the same as if you were standing. So you're going to have a similar action that's going to happen. And all of that starts to really energize up the system. So I can feel energy coming up the legs now into the hip. There's a little bit more of that. Okay, so let's take that action and let's put it in a snake action. That would be fun. So if we were to go the end of the Tai Chi set, we have whip out to one side, the right hand's in the cone, okay? And you've got pressure down in the left foot. So now you're going to push into the left foot, and it's going to spiral the hip. Your right toe opens to face the front, and as you sink into the right leg, the left heel spirals to move back. That starts you into the snake action, and you drop down into your right leg, spiral and open the left, and then you'll push off the ball of the right foot to come up. And in this case, let's do standing on the left. Okay? So I'll move myself back so you see my feet the whole time. So you have pushing into the right, spirals you through the hip, and then you open. Heel, sink, open, stand. All right. Now, how do you get up? You get down into the snake, how do you get back up, especially if you go a little bit too low? Okay, so I'm just going to open. So I'm coming down on this leg. Key is this hand. You open the toe, which starts to open things, You push into the bubbling springs and you spiral out of that right foot, spiral with your right hand, and it lifts you up. Doesn't feel like it when I go that slow. But I was hoping that you could get that feel because there's a push that spirals you through. So it isn't just push off, it's spiral push off. Okay, so let's try that again. So you have open the right side, open the left, sink. Now open the left, spiral out of the right, lift that up, sink. That's going to go down into the left, step patois, sink. And that's down in the right. Okay, so now I'll do it not quite so slow, it's not as hard now. Okay, your hand is a guide that pulls you up, and you can see even the spiral that's coming from my leg, comes through my arm, comes up. So it goes right from one leg, here's my hand, comes through into my left leg. Right hand, there's a spiral that comes up from the left out into the right, and there's a link that happens in that. You want those two to connect, and they will pull you straight up without even having to work. Snake looks like it's a lot of effort, but if you get everything in the right spot, you just go down and come right back up. So down being relative to depending what your knees are like. I say with experience. So sink from the left, open, drop, push, spiral, stand. Patois, stand. Plant the foot, open, so that creates the spiral down in the right leg, and you're stepping patois, creates a spiral out of the right foot into the left foot on the end of that. Okay, so that gives you that little action of that snake. The last week or so, we did the part in low cup, where the right foot's in the front, and you sink back into the left. Your hand comes over, there's a spiral in the left hand at the back, and then there's a spiral in the right at the front, but also the right foot spirals out, and then you turn to step straight and push out. Okay, let's do that little action because it has, again, our focus is on micro movements, so it has a spiral happening through the whole leg, but at the same time it's now linked up to the arm. But not just one, both, because both of them spiral at the same time. And this whole piece is going to do a push of spiraling. Okay, so you've got, you're here. Now pushing out of the right foot, spirals you back into the left foot, and then you spiral out of the left foot, step open, and it comes straight out of the center. Now right there, notice if your toes flip up off the floor, because you should be in your bubbling spring. That'll open your hips, okay? You're going to push out of your left into your right. That spirals around. Up over the top. Whole side spirals. Spiral out of the other foot. Step. And this comes through. Okay. So now going with the micro movement, that one's really easy to go into the heels. You get to here, it's really easy to push back and you're not going to be in the bubbling spring, but that's where you want to be. That's the sweet spot. Okay, so let's try it again. See if I've got, give you enough room to see my feet. Okay, so it would be here. Push into the right, opens the back, spiral. Comes up, turn, spiral, step apart, sink. Find that bubbling spring. spiral. So you're in your right foot, you can feel that spiral in there, and then it lets go to turn around with the left, to turn around in the right, step. And now right here, I'm just going to move away from the table. Find the bubbling springs in your foot and open the spine. Okay, there's a little spiral right there. Hold the ball. Spiral and reach out. Okay? So now, there's little intricate movements in there. Those are more involved in opposite directions than you had in the Tai Chi set, which is why Low Cup and Tai Chi complement each other so well. Okay, I did this first one, and we came to here. Okay, what I'm going to do is turn myself around and do it from the other direction so that you can watch it. Okay, so here's my first one. Okay, so now I'm going to push into my left foot, spirals me into my right foot. Spiral out of my right foot, turn the left foot as far as I can, and then push off the right foot, step. That gives you an inward spiral to leave your leg, and then this is going to go sink. And right here, it's so easy to go back into your heels. Plunk your weight down into the bubbling springs, open the back. Expand and spiral on your right toe, sink. And then this would reach out with an extra spiral. Okay? You can feel what's going on in the feet. So let's try it again, just that last part. So I had here, okay, so I'm going to sink down into my right by spiraling out of my left. Spiral out of my right, open the left, spiral in with the right, step, sink. Weight goes into the bubbling spring, the heels are relaxed. Open and spiral the heel, sink, step, and let that reach out. Okay, it's a beautiful move. It's pretty intricate, so if you were able to follow it and practice it, that one has a lot of wonderful pieces. But today, going down into those micro movements and what you feel in the bubbling springs and where you feel it makes a big difference. Okay, so now let's do the last part of Low Cup. Morning dove floats across the treetops, because when you step in this one, your feet are 22 each, 45 if you can get it, but what we're really focused on is the spiral for today. So you want to go too wide. So you have a spiral that comes out of the left and puts you into the right. And then if you step, you have a spiral out of the right foot into the left. You probably didn't notice it all that much because you'd be focusing on your hands. Step. Now push out of the back foot. It's a spiral down into the right. And then you're going to step. Patois. Belly starts the turn. Toe heel. Patois. And this is going to be put the heel out. Now this is going to spiral. See my foot. Heel goes out, spirals on the heel, turn, sink. Now when you come across this time, push out of the right to spiral, into the left, step, spiral into the right. You can feel that coming through my knee. Step into the right, spiral, step, cross, turn and sink. Now this goes spiral, the left leg around, but then spiral in with the right leg. Step up onto the toes, spiral on the toes of each foot, spiral across, so that's the right goes into the left, and then the left goes into the right. Step, turn, and let that go. Okay, so you probably didn't realize how many spiral actions were in there by focusing on bubbling springs. We usually don't think of it that way. And when you focus on bubbling springs, you can really start to feel the micro movements inside the pelvis as the leg is adjusting. Okay, so if we try that one again, the weight is going to come out of the left and it's going to push across, spiraling down to the right. Step with the left, spiral across to the right, sink. Push to the right, spiral across. Now you're going to step patois. Belly starts to do the movement. Toe, heel. Patois. We'll do one more toe, heel, so you can feel it. Toe, heel. Patois. Gurgle, gurgle, gurgle. Heel goes out. Toe is up. And that's going to be a spiral in on the right side. Sink. And now this is going to go across. Push through. Step, spiral out of the left, into the right. Out of the right, into the left. Step straight, cross, roll the hands, push them apart. Now think about your bubbling springs. Open the left, push out of the right, step into the corner and then rise up. So you spiral on the balls of both feet. Sink. That's a counterclockwise spiral. Comes across. Comes across. And then finishes. And then sink. Okay. All right. I'm hoping with all of that, you've been able to make a connection between how those tiny movements work with all the other movements to put it together. So what I would like to do is finish with some kind of a set with this just movement, because that's a lot of thinking and putting movements together. I'm going to do a saber set, and if you wish to stand, you may do it that way. I'm going to do it seated. So anybody who's joined on, I've talked to lots of people who have not done Tai Chi before, who are scared to come in. And I'm hoping that by breaking the movements down, I haven't been too scary. And I'm hoping that if I do a seated version, if you've never done it before, you can follow my hands and hopefully that'll help you a lot. So if you don't have a saber at your house, not everybody does, you can use the wooden spoon from the kitchen, you could use a dowel, a rolling pin, a stick from the garden, whatever, are your hands. You don't need to hold anything if you don't want. It's going to go into your left hand. You probably wouldn't have a hilt, but I'm going to take my scissor fingers like this, and I'm putting the scissor fingers in between, and I'm just holding on to it. Okay, so let's do saber, and again, you can just copy my arms if you wish. Going to the right, reaching out, and then it's going to come underneath, expand. Awareness of that bubbling spring, awareness up through the back, spiral, coming up from the right foot, spirals back with the left. And then this is going to push out, lift. It's going to go down, forward, So now I'm going to finish right at the end of the set. That's not going to be right. Roll up. I skip right to the end. Okay, push into the foot. I was thinking about the spirals. Push into the left foot. And that does give you a spiral on the top. Okay, so this is going to sweep through. Spiral. Sweep through. Spiral. Sweep through. Spiral. Into the right. Into the left. Spiral. This is going to push out, lift, expand, fall into the feet, goes to your wrist, all the way around, Pakwa, comes out, into the right, into the left, all the way around, straight. Over, into the right, into the left, into the right. And out. Into the right, through the left, changing hands, expand. Into the left, into the right, comes across, into the right, into the left. Two hands, push into the feet, this comes straight up, expand, over, down into the right, roll that up, comes all the way through, and then push out. Sink and lift, down and up, down and up, down and up, down and up, all the way around, into the right, all the way over, let it come back, over, over, expand, down, so you feel that come right through your tailbone, changing hands, open, strike, crossing the hands, lift and open, sink. Okay, minus the glitch, we're all right. I think you probably could sense all of the actions of spiraling coming through. And I hope you can feel the energy coming up and your breath was nice and deep. Okay, the more we can play with the intricate pieces, the more we learn, the more we expand, the more that's possible. So as you finish off your Father's Day, remember to hug those people you can, send love to those that you can, and to those that have passed already, I know you're honoring them today. So have a wonderful rest of your Father's Day, and I'll see you tomorrow.